Andrew Robles here with the Drew Code. Today, I have the honor of having Jaime Sanchez.
Thank you. Appreciate it for having me.
Hey, man, love seeing you. You're doing some great things. What company are you with again?
Yeah, so the name of our firm is Elite Equity Group. We formed it about 7 years ago when started with a flip, and now we've grown to over 100 doors.
Wow, that's awesome. Great to hear. So, Jaime is real estate developer, right?
Exactly.
And tell us how you got started. How did you get, what brought you into the construction real estate industry?
Yeah, so it actually started right around college. I knew I didn't want to do engineering. That was my chosen career, was to go into civil engineering. But I just knew that I didn't want to be in an office. So I explored other kind of career paths that were similar. And then for some reason, construction was something that stood out to me because I wanted to be out doing something that's transformative. And so started doing some internships for general contractors back when I was like 19, 20 years old.
Wow,
And
nice.
I would come to LA, spend my summers doing these internships, worked some really cool projects here in LA. And that's kind of the starting point of my real estate path was through construction, commercial construction. I started opening up my eyes in terms of anything related to real estate. So fast forward, 20 plus years later now we're building some really cool projects here in LA. Excited to share them with everyone.
Wow, very, very nice. What's in construction? Tell me, what's your favorite trade? What trade are you the best at?
So I'd say my favorite trade has to do with framing. Framing, yeah. I'd say once you start framing, it's when you start really seeing the project come to life, and then you start to kind of see what the overall kind of the envelope is going to look like. You
Yeah.
start picturing like more so the finishes and kind of how things are going to get coordinated. So I'd say the framing stage is probably the most
You
exciting.
know what? For superintendents and general contractors, you know what the framing means? That means that there's gonna be fights.
Yeah.
That's when the framers and the electricians start fighting. Like framers will come, they'll cut the electrician's wire. One of my electricians that we both know call me up, be like, Drew, I'm about to whoop this framer's ass. He just cut my wires.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's where it gets fun. That's where it gets fun.
Now, obviously, then you get a lot of different trades to come in, and you got to deal with a lot of different personalities. So
Yeah, exactly.
I can't imagine. I've done some of the GC work, and I'm not cut out for that.
You're right.
It's a lot of work.
Maintaining these personalities, right?
Yep, exactly.
It's crazy. But
Exactly.
that's nice. Good to hear. So tell us what have you done over the past 12 months? Walk us through the past year, what you've done, what you've accomplished.
Yeah, I'd say the last 12 months have been very transformative for my career and for what we're doing here in terms of a firm. But over the last 12 months, it's where I've actually had the opportunity to deliver all the projects that were like planned, several years ago. One of my projects has been going on for about 6 years from the initial concept, and we just delivered it in early January. That was a 53-unit student housing project next to USC. So I was really excited about delivering that. I actually got the certificate of occupancy. But then I also have all these other projects that are under my equity firm, and we delivered 3 projects over the last, call it 6 months. So it's been kind of crazy the last 12 months. As you know, in construction, there's a lot of, the devil's in the details, especially at the end, and coordinating all the trades to make sure they get everything finalized, punch lists, right? And our carrying cost is so high at that point when we're dealing with our financing and we're paying, 10, 11, 12% interest rates on our construction loans. Like there's just a lot of pressure. So it was a very stressful 12 months, but I'm glad that that part is done, and I feel way more stress-free now that we got certificate of occupancy on these pretty big projects, and looking forward to what's next.
Really quickly, in regards to construction, one of the things that you do good, 'cause we follow each other on Instagram, one of the things that Jaime does really well is He understands the construction, the stress of construction, but at the same time, you always have balance. Meaning, you'll work your ass off for 3-4 months, and then you go on to take a good vacation. So why don't you talk to us about balance and how you try to manage?
Yeah, exactly. So I think for me, it's what I'm starting to learn and what I've been evolving into is go all in whatever you're doing. Be very intentional, right? And so whenever I'm focusing on the projects and ensuring that they get delivered, reasonably on time, I'm all in. So I'm only constantly thinking about the project, what needs to be done, what needs to be coordinated. My weekends are spent thinking about how to deal with that issue that came up, the past week. So it's going all in because that's what's going to ensure that the project gets delivered timely and ensures that it gets done well, especially with all the stakeholders, investors that we report to. But, once that's done, again, being very intentional. And so when I take time off, now I'm really learning to actually take time off and step away. I used to have this mindset of maybe I just work remotely and I'm still on call, still dealing with emails, still dealing with situations, but I'm just somewhere else. But I found that that's not very productive, especially in like having a reset, dealing with all that stress from the projects getting to completion. You need to really be able to step away. And so I've made it very intentional to do that now moving forward. It's actually been it's even more productive once I get back because then now I'm able to go ahead and really tackle the problems with a fresh set of eyes.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. What kind of hobbies do you have? What do you like to do for fun?
Yeah, for me, it's just traveling.
So-
I absolutely love traveling. I've traveled to over 32 countries, continue to explore different parts of the world. So I got a lot of trips planned this year already. And so me and my girl, we got a couple trips planned for some weddings that we need to attend, and then doing a Euro trip before our baby's here. So we're expecting in July.
Wow,
So
nice.
yeah, we got a lot of plans this year, and then we already have plans for like even when the baby's here. Buying the necessary travel arrangements with strollers and things like that, so that we can continue traveling because that's just a big passion for me and for us. And so we're just going to continue doing so. We're just going to have to navigate now having a baby on board.
Are you interested in doing any real estate development projects internationally?
Potentially, yeah. It's something that's starting to catch my attention, especially now doing projects here in LA and knowing how difficult and challenging they are to get through any set of projects, right? It's all these stakeholders, these different challenges. And I feel like if I'm able to do it here, then why not be expanding into other areas, other cities, and definitely international. Especially as I've traveled a lot, I get to see what's available in other parts of the world. And so, recently got my dual citizenship. Became also
Nice.
a Mexican citizen as well. So I go there very often, several times a year. So I'm starting to see there's opportunities in terms of development down there as well.
Well, very nice.
Yeah,
That's fun.
exactly.
Nice. We talked about what you did 12 months ago. So what do you have planned moving forward? What about some what do you have coming up that's exciting?
Yeah, so I'd say the last 12 months really set up the stage for where the firm is heading to next. When we started the company, me and my business partner started with a flip back in 2017. So we did this craftsman home flip, and that was such an eye-opening experience about how to dive into entrepreneurship. And I knew that we wanted to continue evolving, and so we stepped into ground-up development, started with a 3-unit, then a 5-unit, then a 6-unit, and then all these projects now came to an end literally in the last 6 months. And so now we have a solid track record that we could say that, before it was based on us as people, our integrity, our character, and then our corporate experience and professional experience. But now we actually have a track record that we can count on. And so that allows us to raise more capital for bigger projects. And so for me, I see myself working on some really cool projects. The person I did that 53-unit student housing project, now they're interested in expanding that same concept to other university areas.
Mm.
And so one of them is where I went to undergrad, which is Cal Poly San Luis Obispo up in the Central Coast. So he went out there this last week to go meet with some big stakeholders out there and seeing if there's an opportunity to develop up where I went to undergrad. And so he's asking if I'd be interested in getting involved and doing some more projects up there. I told him, yeah, why not? And so there's that on the horizon. There's the mastermind we've been working on. We've been teaching people how to get into multifamily investing, anything that's 5 units or more. And so that's really expanding.
Oh, that's nice. I've seen that.
We have about a dozen members now, and we're going to continue to grow and cultivate that network and create that community.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
we're really excited about that. And then, right now I'm just kind of keeping a fresh, set of eyes to see what opportunities out there. Maybe it's international, maybe it's something here, but I'd say it's looking to continue building our portfolio. Right now we're at 100 doors, which is about 40 million in assets under management. But the idea is to get to 100 million assets under management. That way we can really get a seat at the table for some of the more institutional firms and start to make our branding well known here, not in LA, but also just even throughout the nation.
That's very nice. Very solid. So just in regards to us, we are, I know you probably seem like a guy that wants to keep your hand on all the jobs. So nothing too far, something where it's driving distance.
Correct. Exactly.
So,
yeah, you're right on.
So what I'm going to say is that we do have our license in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah,
Phoenix,
exactly.
Scottsdale, some good opportunity. We're licensed.
I've heard great things out there. A lot of people, colleagues who invest down there. So I'm very much intrigued by what's going on out there.
So Arizona, Nevada's possibility, but let's just, I think Phoenix and Mariposa County is
nice
right there. We've headed. Well, actually, I'm gonna tell a success story. A success story from drive-through offers through Jenny White, and going to that event. Right, going to that event that night, we're all in a circle, and one of the guys says, "Hey, San Bernardino County, Riverside County, you close escrow, right? The tenants can be out right away." 2 days later, I start farming Riverside. And I call the owner, and long story short, hey, I need a project. I'm RTI. I want to start, and that's how I found the 71 unit.
Got it.
That I'm about to sign a contract on a Wednesday.
That's amazing.
So me being there planted a seed. That seed created action. That action created a $17 million contract.
For sure.
So to anybody that ever questions, is it worth the $100 a month? Of course it is. Not even a question, right? So I just want to throw that out there that, you never know within your community, within Jenny's community, good opportunities happen just from being around people like that.
No, I think that's a great story. I mean, that's how we reconnected, you and I, actually. And then here we are doing this podcast together. So I think there's a lot of value in ensuring that these really well-networked events, people who actually do care about creating some kind of community coalition, that's what those are meant for, and that creates opportunities where you can do business, where we can collaborate in some way or form. And, that's a big piece for anybody in the audience to understand that the networking component is such a big component for us here in the real estate industry.
So real quick, go ahead and talk about and plug your multifamily community so you could.
Yeah. So for us, we have ours is the Elite Equity Inner Circle Mastermind. What we do is we do these 2-day workshop events on the weekend. Our next one is coming up on March 14th and 15th. And then we have other ones periodically throughout the year. But the idea behind this 2-day weekend is it's basically a crash course on how to invest in apartment buildings. And so, there's a gap in the space in understanding the fundamentals and how to do so. And so we do it because we've been successful at it. We've also learned from a lot of our own mistakes, and we're able to provide this really quality 2-day workshop. And if for those that enjoy the content of what we have in our community, then they're able to join our Inner Circle Mastermind, which is a 2-year program where we teach people how to buy their first apartment building.
Very nice. That's
Yeah.
solid. I'm in.
Yeah.
Oh, but by the way, I'd love to go and maybe be a speaker, talk about the
100%.
construction side.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we definitely collaborate that way. We always have guest speakers, so definitely something for us to follow up on.
That sounds nice. Sounds
Yeah.
great. So who do you look up to in business? Like, who would you say is a good? Who do you admire?
In business, I would, there's a few people that I look up to in business. Some have passed away that were really big in the real estate space. But I would say just generally in business, I like a lot of the stuff that Elon Musk does. Very innovative, visionary, and so I look at people who are visionaries because they really are able to bring they're able to see the future, but somehow in the present are able to enroll us into this vision of what the future can be. And so I'd say, at the moment, I'd say that's someone big that inspires me about, a lot of the stuff that we do in the real estate industry is we're visionaries in the sense that we see a project of what it can be, through utilizing our skills, be able to go ahead and manifest that and make that into reality. So I think visionaries in business are a big part of that.
Leading into that, that's a great one. Elon Musk is great, but you had me thinking. Tell me about are you learning about AI at all? Trying to intertwine that with real estate development in regards to technology?
Not yet, but I know for us in the property management space, I think that's going to be a big component of it. We currently use AppFolio for our property management software. And as we build our portfolio, I think AI is going to be a big role in ensuring that we can provide quality customer service to all our tenants with less, friction, because we have systems in place that an AI tool can probably integrate that allows for like quality customer service, 24/7, client support. And so I'd say that's going to be a big component of it. I'm sure it's already getting integrated. And as we build our property management business, I'd say AI is going to probably be a big component to ensuring that we can provide that level of service to our tenants.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So why don't you, in regards to like private equity firms, hedge funds, I want to know, they put an investment into Elite Equity Group. What are they getting?
Yeah. So for us, the way we've been doing all our deals is through what's called syndication. It's called Section 506B, which basically allows us to raise capital from sophisticated, non-accredited investors. So every deal we've done, we raise capital from basically friends and family or people that we've actually had a relationship with and are able to raise capital from them. But now, as we are beginning to expand, the idea is to get in touch with some of these more institutional firms, family offices as well, because now we have a track record that speaks for itself. And on average, I'd say we're doing probably about 20% annual returns in terms of our projects, because they're of varying degree, right? Some of them ground up development, some of them are multifamily value add deals where we put a lot of renovation work, a lot of thought in terms of how we're going to create the most amount of value. And so I'd say we're in a position where we're excelling our returns, but I'd say 20% on annual returns on average is solid for anybody looking to get into real estate.
Very nice. Wow, it was great having you on. So thank you for coming.
I appreciate you for having me.
Look
Yes.
forward to definitely collabing in the future, doing some stuff, working together.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely, your mastermind group, and love to take a look at some of your projects and stuff like that. So, but definitely, thanks for coming.
No, I appreciate you having me here. It's great to see, somebody else also in the industry, in the space, building their business. I think nothing can be said about the entrepreneurial field.
Yeah.
And that it's a very challenging but a very rewarding experience. And so appreciate you for having me on.
Yeah, it's super cool. So, all right, guys, hope see you next week with the episode of The Drew Code.